Imagine standing on a plane and seeing something bigger than a house stride into view, or looking out to sea and spotting an animal longer than a basketball court. Would you freeze, run, or just stare in dumbfounded wonder? Today we're counting down the 15 largest creatures that ever lived on Earth. And yes, I'll be honest, the title says walked, but this list covers the biggest animals that have ever existed anywhere on Earth, on land or in the sea. Some walked, some swam, and all of them would rearrange your sense of scale. 15. Beelzebufo, the devil frog, era, Late Cretaceous, 70 million years ago. Size, around 0.4 mi, 1.3 ft, snout to vent, maybe a bit more in total length with legs. Diet, carnivorous frog, likely eating insects, small reptiles, maybe young dinosaurs. Where found? Madagascar. What makes it jaw-dropping? Beelzebufo is not a pocket-sized amphibian. Scientists estimate it was about the size of a large dinner plate in body length, but bulky with a head built to deliver a serious bite. Its skull suggests it could snap down on surprisingly large prey for a frog. Picture a toad you could hold like a football. While not world-shattering in absolute dimensions, its sheer bulk for an amphibian and its nickname, devil frog, make it unforgettable. Fossils from Madagascar hint at a chunkier, more powerful lifestyle than modern frogs. 14. Meganeura, the giant dragonfly era, Carboniferous, 300 million years ago. Size, wingspan up to about 0.7 meters, 2.3 ft. Diet, aerial predator, eating insects and other flying arthropods. Where found fossil beds in Europe and North America. What makes it jaw-dropping? Imagine a dragonfly as big as a crow. Meganeura's wings sliced the air in swampy coal forests where oxygen levels were higher than today, something scientists think helped insects reach enormous sizes. Seeing one buzz past would be unnerving. Think of the dragonflies you swat, only scaled up to something you'd notice from across the yard. 13. Pulmonoscorpius, a giant scorpion from the swamp era, Carboniferous, 330 million years ago. Size, up to around 0.7 mi, 2.3 ft, long, from pincers to tail tip. Diet, predator, likely feeding on other arthropods and small vertebrates. Where found? Scotland, East Kirkton Quarry, and similar coal-age deposits. What makes it jaw-dropping? A scorpion nearly as long as a toddler would be hard to ignore. Pulmonoscorpius fossils come from ancient coal swamp rock layers. Its segmented body and fearsome pincers hint at a life stalking the undergrowth long before mammals existed. Scientists stress that despite appearances, its venom and behavior probably weren't directly comparable to modern scorpions. But size-wise, it's a real showstopper. 12. Arthropleura, the millipede-like behemoth. Era Carboniferous, 315 million years ago. Size up to about 2.5 to 3 meters, 8.2, 9.8 ft, long and maybe a meter wide in the biggest estimates. Diet, herbivore detritivore, browsing on plant material and decaying matter. Where found? Europe and North America fossil impressions. What makes it jaw-dropping? Picture a segmented armored creature the length of a small car crawling through swamp ferns. Arthropleura wasn't a millipede in the modern sense, but an ancestor-like arthropod that grew to sizes unheard of today. Scientists think higher oxygen and fewer predators helped it reach these lengths. Footprints and fossilized back plates give us its outline. Massive ribs of life crossing Carboniferous forests. 11. Megalania, Varanus priscus, Australia's giant lizard. Era Pleistocene, estimates vary, lived hundreds of thousands to tens of thousands of years ago. Size, scientists estimate roughly 5 to 7 meters to 16-23 ft long, though some estimates push higher. Diet, apex predator, likely eating mammals, birds, possibly carrion. Where found fossil bones and fragmentary remains in Australia. What makes it jaw-dropping? Think Komodo dragon, then multiply the length and bulk. Megalania is the largest known varanid, monitor lizard, and probably dominated its ecosystems in Australia while early human groups were arriving. Because the fossil record is incomplete, size estimates vary. Still, the idea of a lizard longer than most delivery vans prowling ancient Australia is eerie and fascinating rather than cinematic terror. 10. Titanoboa, the heavyweight constrictor. Era Paleocene, 60 million years ago. Size, up to about 12 to 13 mates, 40-42 ft long. Mass estimates vary, but imagine an extremely heavy python. Diet, giant snake, likely eating crocodile-like reptiles and large fish. Where found? Coal mine fossil beds in Colombia. What makes it jaw-dropping? Discovered in 2009 from coal mine bones and vertebrae, Titanoboa shocked scientists and the public alike. This snake came into a world still rebounding after the dinosaur extinction, in a warm, humid climate where reptiles could grow huge. Visualize a snake long enough to wrap around a bus. That's the scale we're talking. Scientists caution that mass estimates have big margins, but length alone puts Titanoboa on very few wish lists for backyard wildlife. Megalodon, the monstrous shark of the Miocene era, Miocene to Pliocene, 3.6 million years ago. Size, commonly estimated around 15 to 18 means, 49-59 ft in length. Weight estimates vary widely. Diet, apex marine predator, likely hunted whales and large marine mammals. Where found? Teeth and occasional vertebral remains found worldwide. What makes it jaw-dropping? We mostly know Megalodon from teeth. Enormous triangular teeth that can be over 18 centimeters, 7 in long. Cartilage doesn't fossilize like bone, so full-body reconstructions depend on careful comparison with living sharks and close relatives. Scientists estimate a massive, powerfully built animal that could crush bone. Fossil teeth have been found from coastlines across the globe, painting a picture of a dominant ocean predator. Important caution. Those teeth tell us a lot, but not everything. Size ranges are best given with ranges and phrases like scientists estimate. 8. Spinosaurus, the semi-aquatic giant era, Cretaceous, 112-93 million years ago. Size, estimates typically around 12 or 15 makes 39 to 49 ft long. Weight estimates vary. Diet, carnivore, likely hunted fish and perhaps took terrestrial prey too. Where found? North Africa fossil sites in Egypt and Morocco. What makes it jaw-dropping? Spinosaurus is one of the more unusual theropods, with a sail or ridge along its back and anatomical features suggesting it spent significant time in water. For decades it was an oddity in dinosaur lineups. More recent fossils and analyses portray a big, possibly semi-aquatic predator that blurred the lines between land hunter and river cruiser. Imagine a T-Rex cousin adapted to wade and swim after big fish. Impressive and a little uncanny. 7. Paraceratherium, the giant hornless rhinoceros, largest land mammal. Era, Oligocene, 34-23 million years ago. Size, shoulder height estimated around 5.5 mt, 15 to 18 ft. Length up to 8-9 meters, 26-30 ft. Mass estimates often 15 to 20 tons, $33,000-44,000 lb. Diet, massive browser, feeding on leaves from tall trees and shrubs. Where found? Fossil remains across Eurasia, Pakistan to Kazakhstan. What makes it jaw-dropping? Paraceratherium wasn't a dinosaur. It was a mammal the size of a small house. Its long neck and column-like legs allowed it to reach high foliage. Fossils were sometimes found as fragmentary skulls and bones, and for a while researchers debated how big it really was. Today it's widely regarded as the largest known land mammal ever to have existed. Picture an elephant-sized mammal multiplied a few times over, quietly browsing like a walking tower. 6. Whale shark, the gentle giant of today era, extant species. The lineage dates back millions of years, fossil relatives known from the Miocene, 23 million years ago. Size, recorded up to around 18.8 meters, 62 ft, though most adults are smaller. Diet, filter feeder, plankton, small fish, harmless to humans. Where found? Warm oceans worldwide, sightings in tropical seas. What makes it jaw-dropping? The whale shark is the largest fish alive now, and a reminder that extreme size is not just prehistoric. Despite the intimidating mouth and broad frame, whale sharks feed by filtering tiny organisms. They draw curious swimmers and researchers, and their global distribution makes them symbols of modern marine gigantism. Scientists emphasize they're not a threat to people. Watching one is an awe-inspiring reminder that giant life still exists. 5. Megalania and other Pleistocene giants, a quick pair error. Pleistocene for Megalania. Other large Pleistocene reptiles and mammals lived from a few 100,000 to tens of thousands of years ago. Size, Megalania, 5-7 menace, 16 to 23 ft. Pleistocene megafauna varied widely. Diet, apex predators and large browsers. Where found, Australia and other continents with megafauna fossils. What makes it jaw-dropping? The Pleistocene was a recent era in geological terms, and many large animals coexisted with early humans in some regions. Fossils of gigantic monitor lizards and oversized mammals remind us that being big isn't only a thing of deep time. It's a recurring outcome of certain environments and evolutionary paths. Scientists stress we shouldn't assume direct interactions without evidence, but the proximity in time makes these creatures feel eerily close to our story. 4. Patagoteton, the titanic sauropod era, Cretaceous, roughly 100 million years ago. Size, length estimates around 30-37 meters, 98-121 ft. Mass estimates vary widely, tens of tons, with initial estimates near 70 tons, but later analyses suggesting lower figures. Diet, herbivore, a massive browser of ancient forests. Where found, Patagonia, Argentina, discovered from many big bones. What makes it jaw-dropping? Patagoteton is one of the poster children for sauropod gigantism because paleontologists found a relatively complete set of large bones from a single population. That availability let scientists make more confident, though still cautious, size estimates. Picture a creature longer than a basketball court is wide, corkscrewing its neck among tall conifers. Sauropods like Patagoteton are the textbook case of bigger and bigger evolutionary trajectories. 3. Paraceratherium versus other giant land mammals. Why mammals still impress era. Oligocene primarily, mentioned earlier. Size perspective. As a reminder, these mammals reached shoulder heights, rivaling small trees and mass ranges that challenge our intuitions about mammal size. Diet and role, browsers, foragers, shaping the landscapes they lived in. What makes it jaw-dropping? Mammalian giants show that gigantism didn't vanish after dinosaurs. Paraceratherium and its kin demonstrate how different body plans, long limbs and high shoulders rather than neck stretching for sauropods, can produce enormous mass. When you imagine stepping next to one, you realize how human-scale animals are only a thin slice of the possible. 2. Argentinosaurus, perhaps the largest land animal ever era, Late Cretaceous, 94-97 million years ago. Size, scientists estimate around 30-35 meters, 98-115 ft, in length in many reconstructions. Some estimates suggest lengths up to around 40 millimeters, 131 ft. Mass estimates vary widely, commonly given as tens of tons and sometimes up into the dozens of tons. Exact figures are debated. Diet, herbivore, a titanic sauropod, stripping foliage across vast distances. Where found, fossils in Argentina. What makes it jaw-dropping? Argentinosaurus often anchors lists of the biggest land animals because of sheer scale. The fossil record is fragmentary, a few vertebrae and limb bones, so paleontologists use comparisons with better-known sauropods to estimate size. That means size ranges come with substantial uncertainty. Still, even conservative reconstructions show a creature longer than a basketball court and heavier than most modern vehicles. Imagine looking up at the flank of an animal that could eclipse a single-story house in height. 1. Blue whale, the heaviest animal known to science era. Extant species, modern blue whales. Ancestors stretch back millions of years. Size, recorded up to about 30-33 mm, 98-108 ft in length. Mass estimates often up to 150-200 tons, 165 to 220 US tons for the very largest individuals. Diet, filter feeder, enormous mouths filled with baleen to capture plankton and tiny shrimp-like krill. Where found, oceans worldwide. What makes it jaw-dropping? If size is about mass, nothing rivals the blue whale today or in the fossil record. Scientists can measure living animals and have verified these monstrous masses and lengths. A single blue whale's tongue can weigh as much as an elephant, and a full-grown animal could swallow tons of food every day during feeding season. Crucially, they are gentle giants, filter feeders that pose no intentional threat to humans. Watching a blue whale breach or surface is a humbling, almost spiritual experience. A few quick transitions, from creepy crawlies to sky-span bugs, from river predators to ocean monsters, gigantism has appeared again and again in very different bodies and environments. Why does that happen? Scientists point to a mix of factors. Oxygen levels in the Carboniferous allowed arthropods to grow larger. Warm climates, abundant food, and ecological niches with few competitors can let reptiles or mammals evolve huge sizes. In the ocean, buoyancy removes the same constraints that limit land animals, allowing mass to scale up into the hundreds of tons. Extinction drivers are equally varied: climate shifts, habitat loss, changing sea levels, competition, and, in the recent past, human pressures. Quick reminder: if this list has you hungry for more mind-bending ancient facts, and you love giant creatures and the stories behind their fossils, tap subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss the next deep dive. Before we close, a short recap of the top 3 for perspective. 1. The blue whale, the heaviest animal ever verified by science on Earth. 2. Argentinosaurus, probably the largest land animal in length and sheer bulk, estimates among sauropods. 3. The suite of titanic sauropods like Patagoteton and the truly huge land mammals like Paraceratherium that remind us giant size evolved more than once in land vertebrates. A couple of final notes to keep things grounded. When I give numbers, you heard a lot of scientists estimate and ranges for a reason. Fossil records are often fragmentary. Teeth, vertebrae, or a handful of bones require paleontologists to use comparisons and careful modeling, which is how we get ranges instead of single exact figures. Also, while some of these species lived relatively recently in geological time, none of them shared ecosystems with modern humans, except possibly very late surviving megafauna that overlapped early humans in some regions. Don't worry, the world's not secretly crawling with giant prehistoric monsters. So which one shocked you the most? The house-sized herbivores, the snake that could circle a bus, or the ocean behemoth heavier than a train? Drop your pick in the comments. Tell us which comparison helped you visualize scale. And if you want more episodes where we compare ancient giants to modern objects and animals, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching. And next time you see a whale shark or an elephant, remember, Earth has hosted beasts far stranger and far larger than either.